Diddy woke up this morning inside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. The federal jail has been called, quote, hell on earth.
He can't go into a regular housing unit because somebody will take him out for sure.
Diddy's attorney revealing the worst thing about jail for the rapper. According to People magazine, his lawyer said, quote, I think the food's probably the roughest part of it.
I would expect that he would not be in the general population. His incredibly high celebrity status makes him a very, very attractive target for assault.
This is no movie, it's Diddy's reality. The hip-hop mogul finds himself imprisoned in what's been described as hell on earth, stripped of his power and influence, and subjected to constant surveillance, a stark contrast to his once dominant position in the industry.
Speak after a judge denied his request for bail a second time, and the place where he's locked up now getting a lot of attention. The Metropolitan Detention Center, the only federal jail in New York City, is known for violence, poor conditions, and a string of celebrity detainees. And Diddy's attorneys want him out. NBC News' Yasmin Youssian has more.
From his $48 million Miami mansion to hell on earth where chaos reigns. Just some of the words used to describe the Metropolitan Detention Center where Sean Diddy Combs is now being held without bail after pleading not guilty to sex trafficking and racketeering charges.
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
He is not the first high-profile inmate to pass through these walls. Ghislaine Maxwell, R. Kelly, Pharma Bro Martin Shkreli, and crypto fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried, all as they waited for their federal criminal trials, called this jail home. But the conditions of the prison are far from homey, notoriously described as, quote, dreadful, as one judge put it. Some of the bench have even moved away from sending nonviolent defendants there. In April, a group of detainees that prosecutors said were MS-13 gang members in court documents stabbed an inmate 44 times in an attack caught on camera. 2 shivs were recovered from the attack. You see them here. The victim survived. And in the last 3 years alone, 4 inmates have died by suicide. And violence is not the only issue. Accusations of medical neglect, staffing shortages, smuggling of drugs, some allegedly facilitated by employees. At least 6 staff members charged with crimes in the last 5 years, according to the AP. Some accused of accepting bribes and providing contraband.
I've had clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
Lance A. Clark is a federal defense attorney who's been there many times.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
Occupy the seats until they get heat.
In the winter of 2019, protests over a power outage left inmates without light or heat for a week in the cold.
Understand how cold it must be in those cells, and not to have any electricity, any lights, and to not be able to communicate with your family is just inhumane.
The prison has about 1,200 detainees and is the only federal prison in the nation's largest city. The DOJ shut down New York City's other federal jail, the Metropolitan Correctional Center, back in 2021, 2 years after Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide.
How does a celebrity accustomed to luxury and wealth end up in one of the nation's most infamous prisons? Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, notorious for housing high-profile inmates like Jeffrey Epstein and R. Kelly, has gained a reputation for appalling prisoner treatment. Now, Diddy Combs, a man who built an empire in the spotlight, faces the grim reality of life behind bars. Leaked information paints a harrowing picture of his daily existence in a facility far removed from the glitz and glamour he once thrived in. As his lavish lifestyle is replaced with harsh conditions and constant surveillance, the contrast between his former world and his current circumstances couldn't be starker.
Diddy woke up this morning inside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. The federal jail has been called, quote, hell on earth.
Some of the shocking things that you see are the manufacturing of weapons, assaults, inmates hid cell phones within their rectal cavity. Jails and prisons are very different from free society.
We spoke with Cameron Lindsay, the former warden of Diddy's jail. The facility accommodates around 1,200 detainees and once housed R. Kelly and Jeffrey Epstein's accused co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell.
I would expect that he would not be in the general population. His incredibly high celebrity status makes him a very, very attractive target for assault. He would be locked in that cell 23 hours a day, 3 showers a week. My advice would be keep quiet, keep to yourself. It has to be more of a culture shock.
A rep for the Federal Bureau of Prisons tells ET that earlier this year they appointed an urgent action team to address issues. It's their mission to operate safe, secure, and humane facilities.
Reports of preferential treatment and daily psychological check-ins suggest Diddy's detention is far from ordinary. However, questions linger. Has his fame shielded him from the notorious conditions of MDC, or has it intensified his ordeal, drawing added scrutiny and unique challenges? As more details emerge, the truth remains unclear.
I want to bring in Larry Levine. He is a former federal prisoner who served time at 11 institutions of various security levels in 5 different states, and he now advises people who are about to go to prison. As the founder and director of Wall Street Prison Consultants. And of course, he's a friend of the show. So breaking news right now, Larry, I am just getting word. People magazine says it's got a source on the inside that tells them that P. Diddy's on suicide watch tonight. Do your sources confer the same information? Are they saying it was possible?
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the SHU have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on suicide watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight guest. When they pulled his bond hearing, now they checked him into the system, and reality has hit him. And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on suicide watch. Another error that I guess some warden told you this. There are sentenced inmates there. They're called cadre inmates. They don't have to be white-collar inmates, but they're doing maintenance on the building. And the problem, why there's a lot of violence there, they have housing units. And they're mixing bank robbers, drug dealers, rapists with white-collar people. And this is why Diddy, he can't go into a regular housing unit because somebody will take him out for sure. Somebody's gonna get a lot of street credibility out of this. People that are doing substantial time that know they're never getting out. They'll just kill the guy. No questions asked.
As Diddy's high-profile case continues to unfold, insiders have started leaking details that offer a glimpse into his current reality. Prison expert Larry Levin recently revealed that Diddy is reportedly visited multiple times daily by a psychiatric team. While he isn't officially on suicide watch, these regular mental health check-ins are designed to monitor his adjustment to prison life. According to Levin, such visits are a common practice for inmates of Diddy's stature, aimed at ensuring their psychological stability. However, these interactions also highlight the harsh challenges of navigating life inside the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC. Known for its unforgiving conditions, the facility poses a stark contrast to Diddy's life of luxury, underscoring the mental and emotional toll of his ongoing incarceration.
And director and founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants, Larry Levine, joins me now. Larry, welcome to the show. Thanks for being with me.
Glad to be with you.
So this jail's conditions, have been described as dirty, notorious for mice, maggots, inmate violence, power outages. You spent 10 years in 11 different facilities, so you know what life is like for him right now. Take us behind the scenes.
I was also at MDC Los Angeles. It's like a cookie cutter of the MDC in New York. So yeah, I do know. But he's sitting in the SHU. He's in the hole. And this guy is going through loneliness, anxiety, desperation. He's on suicide watch. And they hand out like psych meds, like they're M&Ms to these inmates to try to get them to cope with what's going on. So his entire existence is to sit in this little cell, essentially. He can shower 3 times a week. He's not getting any real visits. If his lawyer does a legal visit, They have to come upstairs into the special housing unit to see him. Now, have you seen these reports about all these commissary items? They say that he could buy any of those.
What was one of them? Steak or something?
Ribeye, steak, and all kinds of nonsense. He's in the shoe, people. He's in a special housing unit. He cannot buy things off the regular commissary.
According to prison expert Larry Levin, Diddy may be receiving what some might call preferential treatment during his time at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn. Levin claims that Diddy has access to certain luxuries, like extra showers, a privilege not extended to most inmates. However, this doesn't mean he's living comfortably. Far from the opulence of his Miami mansion, Diddy is confined to a small cell within a facility notorious for violence, deadly altercations, and crumbling infrastructure. Levin emphasizes that life in MDC is unlike anything Diddy has ever experienced, with the environment being compared by legal experts to a war zone. Recent incidents, including stabbings and inmate deaths, highlight the dangerous reality of the detention center. Levin sums up the situation bluntly, stating that Diddy isn't playing chess or plotting. He's simply trying to survive each day in a perilous environment.
Look, if he makes it to GP, general population, someone's going to stick a knife in him. They're going to put some bars of soap in a sock and boom, they're going to pop him over the head and split his head open like a watermelon. They cannot GP him at all. There's a better chance of Jesus appearing in front of us right now than him making general population. He's safe where he is at. There's no reason to move him. And this nonsense about him getting bail, they're never going to give him bail. He wants to go to Essex County, New Jersey, to go to a cushy jail there. Remember, he's not a federal inmate. He's a U.S. Marshal detainee. So they just house him at MDC. And in order to send him to Jersey, they would have to transport him back and forth several times a week with like 6 marshals. They put him in one car, and there'd be a car behind him and a car in front of him. They're not going to do that. So his life essentially at this point is just screwed. And I don't see him ever getting out. And remember, he's fighting his case.
The Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn, often mentioned in news reports about criminal cases gone wrong, is now Diddy's stark reality. Far removed from the lavish lifestyle he once enjoyed, his cell is a bare and grim space within a facility infamous for its dark history and notorious inmates. MDC has long been a symbol of systemic failure, with one judge describing it as a place where violence and despair thrive unchecked. This grim backdrop stands in sharp contrast to Diddy's former life of luxury, highlighting the harsh realities faced by those held in a detention center synonymous with tragedy and ongoing controversy.
Which houses approximately 1,200 people, mostly those who are arrested and those who are awaiting trial, as well as those serving short sentences. This is a facility that has been plagued with issues: violence, deplorable conditions, not enough manpower, drug smuggling. In fact, earlier this year, New York Representative Dan Goldman stated he would file a formal request for an investigation into the MDC. He released a statement saying, quote, "Over the last 2 years, there have been steady reports of deteriorating conditions at MDC harming inmates and correctional officers alike, including chronic understaffing, perpetual solitary confinement, and widespread violence." And then he said how a federal judge earlier this year cited the prison system's dreadful conditions as a reason not to remand a defendant to MDC. He said, quote, "Earlier this year, I toured MDC with the warden and executives from the Bureau of Prisons, all of whom acknowledged the improvements needed at the facility. Unfortunately, conditions have only gotten worse."
The descriptions are bleak. Overcrowded cells, frequent lockdowns, and restricted access to basic necessities like showers, exercise, and outdoor time.
Today we learned a local family had to make the tough decision to take a loved one off life support. The incidents that ultimately killed that man happened while he was an inmate at the Metropolitan Detention Center. He is the 5th MDC inmate, though, to die this year. That's 5 deaths in less than 6 months.
This year, 5 people have died while they were inmates at the Metro Detention Center.
It's sad to say that it's not surprising.
Albuquerque attorney Matt Coit, who's brought many lawsuits against MDC over 2 decades, says there are 2 long-running problems. One is inmates not getting the medical care they need.
Just think of all the people who didn't die, who didn't get medical care, who were released and their conditions have been exacerbated or unattended.
And Coit believes the correctional officers in charge of keeping everyone safe are often too violent.
The second distinct problem has been a culture of violence within the custodial staff. Think of all of the people who suffer at the hands of a violent custodial staff on a daily or weekly basis.
In our research, many deaths over the last few years have been suicides, and many allegedly involve people who are going through drug withdrawal. Coit says every jail should be prepared to help inmates suffering from a drug addiction.
According to prison expert Larry Levin, Diddy's survival at MDC isn't just about enduring confinement, it's also about maintaining mental health. While he isn't officially under suicide watch, frequent psychological check-ins by the prison's mental health team reveal the significant toll these harsh conditions are taking on him. The transition from the comfort of a luxury mansion to a stark metal cell is jarring, compounded by the loss of control, shifting from a life where he called the shots to one where he's entirely at the mercy of the system. Diddy's fame further complicates his experience. He is reportedly being held in the special housing unit, Keshechu, a prison within a prison designed for inmates deemed at risk to themselves or others. Though this arrangement may provide heightened security, it often comes with near total isolation, a psychological burden that can break even the strongest minds. The Keshechu's extreme solitude, coupled with the drastic lifestyle change, highlights the mental and emotional challenges Diddy faces daily. While some might view this special attention as a privilege, it underscores the stark reality of his situation. Survival at MDC demands more than resilience. It requires navigating an environment designed to dehumanize.
And hear us tell you about prisoners being put into segregation at the Bernalillo County Jail, but we've never gotten to see what that looks like until tonight. Action 7 News reporter Regina Reese takes us on an exclusive tour and shows us where a man accused of shooting a cop is being held.
So Regina, this is the Segregation Intake 4 unit. This is where you house all inmates that are administrative segregation with a high classification.
Behind the doors of maximum classification segregation at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Maximum security for the inmates who are put in there. Inmates like Christopher Cook. He's charged with attempted murder after Albuquerque police say he shot one of their own, Officer Lou Golson, during a traffic stop.
There's 4 tiers to a pod in the Mexican unit. There's a cage area.
Each inmate is in a cell by himself. They get just 1 hour out of the cell each day to shower, use the phone, and talk to other inmates. Only 1 inmate is allowed out at a time.
Typically, a lot of inmates do sleep. They do review legal material, correspondence and mail. Typically like to read a lot too, and hopefully not cause disturbances while they're in custody.
Inmates in segregation have the option to spend an hour each day outside, but they have to be in these enclosures, and they are in these by themselves. Some of those inmates, including Christopher Cook, wear these red high-risk jumpsuits.
Certain individuals that are high profile initially, they are a little more observed through checks to ensure their safety as well as the safety of staff.
And in dealing with these inmates, the jail says safety is an absolute must.
Beyond the mental and physical challenges, sources close to the family reveal that Diddy's primary concern is not for himself, but for his children, highlighting the tragic family dimension of his incarceration. His 7 children are grappling with the emotional weight of his detention, and the separation has taken a heavy toll. While Diddy has managed to speak with his family on the phone a few times, these precious moments are rare and limited due to the strict communication restrictions of his confinement. The strained connections and inability to provide comfort or support to his children add another layer of anguish to his already difficult circumstances.
More than a month after their father's arrest, the children of disgraced music producer Sean Diddy Combs are speaking out. In a joint statement posted to social media, 6 of the embattled music mogul's children rallied in support of their dad. The statement posted to Instagram by Combs' son Quincy Brown reads, quote, "The past month has devastated our family. Many have judged both him and us based on accusations, conspiracy theories, and false narrative that have spiraled into absurdity on social media. We stand united, supporting you every step of the way. We hold on to the truth, knowing it will prevail. and nothing will break the strength of our family. We miss you and love you, Dad. Combs' children, Justin Dior, Christian King, Chance, Delilah, and Jesse, were all listed as collaborators and tagged in the post.
Food, a basic necessity often taken for granted, has become another challenge in Diddy's daily life in detention. His legal team has pushed for a change of location, potentially moving him to a facility in New Jersey, but MDC remains firm, citing security protocols and institutional policy. MDC is notorious for its subpar food, and according to Diddy's lawyer, the poor quality of meals is one of the most difficult aspects of his current situation. While it might seem like a minor detail, it highlights the drastic shift in Diddy's life from the luxury he was accustomed to. The lack of proper nourishment and the unappealing meals serve as a stark reminder of the severe consequences of his incarceration, further emphasizing the challenges he faces in a facility notorious for its harsh conditions.
Diddy's attorney revealing the worst thing about jail for the rapper. According to People magazine, his lawyer said, quote, I think the food's probably the roughest part of it.
The meals are supposed to be nutritionally balanced and edible. He would receive 3 meals per day. Very basic meal expectations.
Diddy's new diet going on more than 3 weeks behind bars. The New York Post reports he was served Swedish meatballs after pleading not guilty to his charges of and racketeering.
He will have his meals delivered to him. He would not go to a dining hall in a high-rise like the MDC Brooklyn. The correctional officer on the unit delivers them to the detainee or the inmate.
There are no real escapes in this hell on earth. Diddy's experience in detention goes beyond mere incarceration. It serves as a harsh reminder of the price of freedom. As his story unfolds, it remains uncertain how he will navigate the challenging months ahead. Once the dominant force in hip-hop, Diddy now faces an uncertain future in one of the country's toughest jails, awaiting trial. Reports of preferential treatment and frequent psychological check-ins, while seemingly small, offer little comfort in the grim reality of MDC. For a celebrity like Diddy, these slight benefits, such as extra showers or regular visits from a psychiatric team, may feel like fragile lifelines. They provide a momentary reprieve from the harsh, unforgiving conditions of a facility infamous for its violence, decay, and overcrowding. But ultimately, MDC is a place where the system is indifferent to status, identity, or past achievements. In a prison where even the most powerful inmates are subjected to brutality, the days ahead may prove even more grueling for Diddy. As he navigates this grim chapter of his life, the magnitude of the consequences is evident. No amount of fame or fortune can shield him from the weight of his current reality. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video and found it both engaging and thought-provoking. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to leave your comments below. We'd love to hear your opinions and start a great discussion with you all. What stood out to you? Do you agree with the points raised, or do you have a different perspective? Your thoughts are always welcome here. If you haven't already, please like this video to show your support. It helps us create more exciting content for you. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you'll never miss any of our latest uploads. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. What do you think will happen next? Share your insights and connect with others. Thank you for being part of our amazing community, and we'll see you in the next video.